growing up on a farm and was retarded, Bruges might impress me. But I didn't, so it doesn't.
Welcome to the Regular Menthol Podcast, where we discuss Kino movies. My name is Tate. My co-host here is Chris.
Hello, folks.
We give a little thoughts on the movie, our experience with it. Then we discuss specific scenes that we like, followed up with our very own Kino rating. Today we're discussing the movie In Bruges, 2008, starring Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson, and Ralph Fiennes. This is the 52nd episode of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoa.
1 year ago.
Oh, Nelly.
Good Lord.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say thank you to the people who've been listening over the past year.
Yes. Thank you very much, folks.
We appreciate you. Let us know your thoughts. If there's any movie you want us to cover, email us regularormenthol@gmail.com. Yes. King, how are you today? How you feeling there, bud?
I'm doing all right. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little sicky. I don't know if it's sicky or if maybe it's just my allergies, because I go outside and I'm getting like swimming in pollen. Have you noticed this?
You're in the
Like
pollen.
your car. Super annoying.
You got the coating when you go out in the morning.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's getting to you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my wife like washes her car every week. She has like some kind of monthly plan. I'm like, dude, between the rain or when it's like snowy weather out or just pollen, like, what are you doing? It's a waste.
So she's just
Does that
doing
make
it
any
every week
sense?
now.
Well, I guess so. I guess it kind of makes sense though, right? Am I just an idiot? Because if it gets dirty, you just get to wash. Well, I'm just like a person who never washes my car.
Yeah, I don't really either. Is that weird?
I don't think so. Saves money, I guess. I'll routinely clean out the inside like twice a year, like really vacuum it out and all that shit. But yeah, I don't know. These people who go to the car wash like every week, I just don't get it.
Well, I imagine that some people have a car that's worth washing. I have a Hyundai Accent base model. I'm getting the dust out. I'm getting the insane stuff that I have in my car out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She does have a nice car. I'll give her that. But I don't know. Moral of the story. Pollen. Yes. I'm feeling like shit. Don't like it. Not happy. But we move forward.
Computer, heal this man.
Gotta hit our episode.
Heal this man right now. Make him wake up tomorrow. Not sick at all.
Before we get into this, we always cover the news. What's going on? We got 2 more weeks. Am I right? 2 more weeks.
Yeah, we do, I guess. I have no idea what's going on anymore. I've completely zoned out on everything. I'm going to be honest with you.
2 more weeks, folks. 2 more weeks of paying $5 a gallon gas. It's all back to normal.
How many gallons is your tank?
So my truck is like 22 gallons, I think, to fill up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just be filling. Oh, yeah.
Give me that.
I'm trying to ride it out. I'm trying to ride out my $3.80 that I got like last week till it's final, the finality, till it's dry. Yeah, man. So 2 more weeks, folks, and things will be back to normal. Promise.
Well, you want to believe this is the time. It's finally going to happen. Something's going to happen here, Big Chris. Okay? Finally.
Mm-hmm.
But as we all know,
nothing ever happens.
Smart money always bets on nothing ever happening. Imagine that.
That sounds about accurate.
All this hoopla, everyone's all up in arms and everything, and nothing actually happens.
Yeah, so let's talk about a movie where something actually happens. But again, it's a movie and it's fake. Tell me about In Bruges.
2 hitmen, Ken and Ray, are tasked with hiding out in Bruges after a botched job in which a kid is killed. Filled with guilt, Ray can't sit still in the tourist-heavy city, whereas Ken finds himself genuinely charmed by the city's history. As it turns out, their boss, Harry, just sent them to Bruges as a nice send-off for Ray before he dies, as punishment for him killing a kid. After growing close to Ray, Ken refuses to kill him and sends him on a train to escape. Now, Harry has to choose to live by a code or trust a friend. There.
Very nice. Did you get the vibe that they knew each other for more than just this hit?
Who? The actors?
Ken and Ray.
Oh, Ken and Ray.
Well, of course, the actors.
Yeah. Maybe they did a couple of jobs together. Maybe,
Couple of jobs?
They work with Harry. Ray, maybe he's a bit of a newcomer. This is his first job. Ken, the old timer, the grizzled vet, shows him the ropes a little bit on his first job.
Yeah, as you were saying that, I just kind of question. I'm like, okay, wait. They show a little bit of, they have a vibe.
Camaraderie.
And then camaraderie. But it just got me thinking, like, yeah, maybe they did actually do more than the job. I can also see it where they just met for the first time and Ken's getting really annoyed by Ray's ADHD.
Yes.
And he's like, yeah, I can't deal with this guy. But he becomes friends with him anyway. But more so to the point of like, he's willing to risk his life for this dude. But he just met him and just started doing jobs with him. Very curious.
Well, that's a good point. He does decide to kind of, not go through with it. And it's because these guys are just good pals, but you want to believe it's got to be more than just the couple of days they spent quibbling in a room.
Right. Yeah. It is interesting.
Even though Bruges is in Belgium, I think of this as this Irish movie, both Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell, both Irish lads, and they're got the Irish accents through the movie. And somehow this accent that they're both speaking in makes the movie just a little bit touch funnier to me. Because I think Irish accent adds this levity to everything.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, but the original script, they're supposed to be British.
Is that true?
Then when they both got casted, they're like, we're both Irish, so we're just going to make the characters Irish. Which, you know me, I've said in multiple episodes, I love British humor, so it would have sold. But yes, I agree. The fact that they are Irish makes it a little bit funnier. A skosh.
Is Colin Farrell the number one ranked Irish Chad?
Yeah, he's got to be, dude.
Let's go to the...
I was never a big Colin Farrell guy until recently. And then, of course, I saw The Northwater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll talk about later. And obviously covered that movie, or should I say show. Yeah, this dude rules. No, he's got some range like anyone I've ever seen before.
But it's intriguing that he seems, in his early career at least, to have done all these cheesy roles.
Dude, that's a lot of people, man. Look at who's 300? What's his name?
Gerard Butler.
Yeah, dude. Gerard Butler's doing rom-coms. Matthew McConaughey, rom-coms. Dude, think about how big rom-coms were back in like the early 2000s. It was like everyone just, the whole box office was like 8 rom-coms.
Rom-coms, dog.
But it's true. Like, yeah, that's these guys, Folks, if you get a chance, Google a picture of Colin Farrell in The Northwater. It's not the same guy. And then what? He just did The Penguin?
The Penguin, yeah. It's a similar kind of, this isn't the same guy type of feel when you look at him.
Yeah. This is what good actors do, man. They do those stupid roles at the beginning till they get some kind of star power. McConaughey, right? Same thing. Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson,
Like, I'll do the stupid shit. And then it's like, when I want to do my creative stuff, the stuff I want to do, I'm just going to ball out. So, yeah, Colin Farrell, number one Irish Chad. I'd agree. But I will say this. We always talk about you're always a big fan of faces in the movie.
Yeah.
And eyes. This movie right here is peak. Like, hey, what are these eyebrows that he's doing this entire movie? Like, every time it gets close up on his face, he got these eyebrows like, I don't want to be here. And then facial expressions. Brendan Gleeson as well. These two together is like a masterclass, as you would say, in facial expressions. This is the movie for it.
And it's funny because he does these facial expressions throughout the movie that are like, whoopsie, Colin Farrell.
Yeah, dude.
It's
so good.
It seems like he's this child stuck in this adult body the whole time.
Correct. Literally.
And does
every response that he has. And it's like Brendan Gleeson's the angry uncle. Not even angry, but just like not trying to put up with his shit, but he's like caring and loving, so he does.
Do you believe when you see this movie, it makes you want to go to Bruges?
Yeah. It makes Bruges feel very small, though, I will say, because it's always, they keep shooting in, I guess, like the center of the town.
Yeah.
All these shots or the scenes, so it kind of makes it feel tiny. But yeah, I'm a history guy, so I definitely can vibe with I'm Brendan Gleeson, bro.
Maybe it's the alcoves.
We'll get to that. Yeah, exactly. First time watching this movie. What do you got? Do you recall?
Later in the game, I think it was the first time I fully watched this. I do remember sitting on my couch and my dad was watching it, and I kind of just left the room, and my dad just giggling. Because my dad loves British shows.
Oh, yeah. That's why your dad rules.
He loves foreign, movies and everything. And this dude's just sitting on the couch, just in his chair, just zipping, drinking a Heineken. watching a nice movie, and I just remember seeing this. I'm like, oh, this is kind of strange role for Colin Farrell. Like I've been seeing him in action movies and whatnot, and then here you have him in this movie, and that was my early foray into it. And then I watched the movie fully immersed. So okay, Colin Farrell, Kino. Let me go back in around the 2016 era. It's like, oh yeah, okay, I'm down with this movie. Yes, yourself, sir.
Yeah, prior to today, I definitely recall seeing it. I want to say early 2010s, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this movie's awesome. And then it just never presented itself again, so I never watched it back after I like rewatched a ton of movies. But yeah, I rewatched it today. I'm like, there's a shit ton of stuff I forget about it, and I just completely forgot the entirety of the back and forth dialogue and how hilarious it is.
Yeah.
Like, you're texting me and you're like, dude, this movie's fucking funny as shit. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It's a funny movie.
You kind of forget, yeah.
Literally the main character. I already know who you got.
Well, I guess I'm right in this movie because I think underneath the surface of all, the shit that is me, all the crazy stuff I'm saying over the years, I think it's just boredom, dog. Like, I'm Ray in that he's just sitting there bored, not knowing what to do. And I've just always been bored in my life.
Yeah. Fair enough. You got some Ray about you.
I have to get out. I have to get out of here and like mix it up with the people or something. Yeah, I have to.
Get in Bruges, bro. Get in Bruges.
But then you go out. See, that's what the beautiful in this movie and why I am Ray. They go out, and where they go to the pub. But the pub in Bruges is exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about pubs, dog.
Well, yeah, that's where you'd want to be.
Yeah.
Ideally. Not some sports pub with the big game on.
Not with the big game on. Not with 30 screens blasting extremely loud sports in my face.
And advertisements?
Exactly. I don't like the advertisements. I don't like the big game. I like to talk to the people. Hey, man, how you doing?
Nah, it's a good point, though. I mean, it's a completely different vibe. You go to a pub in, Belgium. I would go with Ken in this movie. He's a dude who sticks to his morals and codes, even if it doesn't benefit him, which I kind of vibe with. And, he's drinking a beer, reading a book in a pub. Like, this is me, right?
That is literally you.
Yeah. And also, the dude's a big history guy, which I was a history major in college before I switched to marketing. So I can vibe with this guy. I like him. He's a good character. The juxtaposition between these two is amazing. So
it just flashed in my head a vision of you at the bar when you were driving your wife up to go to school or whatever, right?
Ah, yeah, dude. This is Kino. This is like she'd be going up to do this weekend program to get her master's, and I'd have nothing to do all day. So I would take my laptop and just go to a bar and this is Dallas, Pennsylvania, which is where my mom's from. And there's Nowhereville, right?
Mm.
And it's just some random pub. And I just go in with a laptop and just drink beers all day and just work on shit for work. This is it. Work on marketing stuff. And I'm waiting for her to be done. It's pack up, go over. I've been there for a couple hours and pick her up. That's it. But instead, yes, I should have been reading. But anyway, let's get some of these fun facts. All right, this first one. When Peter Lakels was executed in 1488, Maximilian of Austria's punishment was that Bruges keeps swans forever. Now, this is kind of a wild thing when I had to research it. Lakels was the dude in the painting that Ray looks at, and he's getting skinned alive. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
When he's looking at all the pictures. So apparently he was an advisor to Maximilian. And get this, because they were taxing the shit out of all their citizens, the citizens revolted. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Such a thing?
You hate to see it.
So long story short, imagine that. People just, rebel and they push back on getting taxed.
Shouldn't they have just paid their taxes? You know what I mean?
I think so. Hey, man, it's part of the whhole big structure. You keep telling me that. It's what keeps things moving. It's this dude we work with. If you know who I'm talking about. And he was I was arguing with him about taxes the one day. He's like, well, it's just it's just part of the process, and we live in a civilized society, and you'd have to have taxes.
We live in a society.
What? A what, dude? Paying half of my taxes to the government for what exactly? But it was here and there. So anyway, long story short, they made the emperor watch Lackles get tortured over a few days, and then they decapitated him. So Lackles' his name means long neck, and his family had a crest of a swan. So when shit smoothed over, Maximilian made the townspeople keep swans in the waterway for eternity, or he said he'd come back and kill them out of respect for Lackles. This is all back in 1488.
That Harry does bring up at the end of the movie. He says something along the lines of, they still have the swans, right?
That's what made me think about it. I'm like, that's an interesting thing. I'd be curious to know. Number 2, the word fuck and its derivatives are said 126 times in the 107-minute film, an average of 1.18 fucks per minute.
That's impressive. I didn't really notice that. And when you saw that, I was questioning myself whether I was grasping reality or not. Because I feel like, gee whiz, wouldn't I have noticed that? That's a considerable amount of fucks.
Well, I think the Irish, they say it pretty like under their breath. It kind of just flows. A fuck, right?
Yeah.
Was that British? I don't know. I don't know. Remember that whole thing where it was like back in the 90s, 2000s, Blink 182, like, yeah, dude, the 182 means the number of times they said fuck in this movie. Remember that?
Yeah.
Or in the album or something. That's like a huge thing. Oh, man, they said fuck 182 times.
Dude ranch.
Yeah, they say the F word. They say the F word quite a bit. This one's a good one, right? Ready for this?
Okay.
Harry's strict moral code gets a further insight in a deleted scene where a young version is played by Matt Smith.
Wow.
In it, Harry discovers his partner holding a dead woman in a club. So he marches into a police station and beheads the man who did it, a dirty detective. Ultimately, filmmakers decided to cut the scene as the CGI decapitation looked fake.
No CGI. We don't like the CGI on this podcast. And furthermore, I feel like Harry would not be there at the end of the movie because he'd be in jail if he just decapitated some dude.
Well, yeah. So I don't know how the script was rewritten. They omitted it. The point being is, imagine this. They're like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and just leave that out because it doesn't look good. CGI doesn't look good. And we'll get to it later, but just the practical effects and some of these ending scenes with the blood and, looks, I think, stellar.
Squibs. Yeah, squibs over CGI. Listen, I appreciate the integrity of the filmmakers here because what we have here is a movie that I very much like, ladies and gentlemen. And to put some egregious CGI in just for funsies would really potentially ruin this on my ratings list. We'll get to that.
Yes. So let's get into some of these keynote scenes. I love the way this movie opens up. It's just like a voiceover of Ken talking about how they killed someone. They're on the run. Immediately cuts to them just walking through Bruges together. So like something about this, I just think rules, right?
Okay.
And it's like you automatically, as the audience, you know what's going on. And then it kind of just puts pressure on the writer, you know what I mean? To explain to the viewer who already knows what's going on. Now I have to make something compelling. Like there's no, gotcha moment or there's no big reveal. These two dudes are in Bruges. They just killed someone and they're just walking through.
Yeah.
I just think that's cool. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it's not about the big thing. It's about just dialogue and story pacing.
This movie does that.
Right.
That shows that shot of them arguing about staying in this tiny little apartment for 2 weeks or the hotel or whatever it is. And I'm thinking to myself, it's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He's like, we're here for 2 weeks. They're doing the meme in 2008. And I just have to ask, my friend, when did 2 weeks become the industry standard for everything? 2 more weeks.
It's a great question. I assume that it was in 2020, but who knows? This could be simulated reality. This reality might be completely simulated. And now they're going back in time and messing with us. They have AI now that can time travel, and they're just going back in time to inject things in movies just to mess with us. I'm somewhat convinced of this now.
Oof. Hate to hear it.
I love the fact, Ken, he's at the top of this tower. They're making a big deal out of this tower. And he gets to the top there and he's just delighted with himself. He takes a moment, he takes a second to just take it all in. And then he takes a look out at the view, feels great. And then he looks down at Ray and he's like, oh, Jesus, Jesus man. Great shot. He pointing a finger gun at Ray from the top of the tower,
Right.
and the camera zooming out to behind his hand. And right away, they just hit you with these great shots in this movie. And I appreciate it.
Well, great shot and great foretelling.
Yeah,
Because
true.
there's a couple times in this movie where there's good foreshadowing where, again, he's pointing the gun at Ray, and where's he pointing it? Behind his back, right?
Yeah.
He's supposed to go up and shoot him behind the back, in the back of the head.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't follow through with it. Also, didn't think about this one until late, but when Ray gets shot, and we'll get to it, but when Ray gets shot on the boat by Harry, if you look close, the bullet goes through him and kills the boat driver.
It's
foreshadowing what happens at the end of the movie when he gets shot and it kills the midget.
one of the themes here in this movie is that they use every single random plot device thing that you might think at the time is completely random. And then it shows up again at the end of the movie and they bring it full circle. Like, oh, that's why that was that's why they did that scene.
It's like a Tarantino kind of style, but just not over the top.
Ray, he's sitting on this bench outside the tower, and these American tourists just walk up to him way too close into his comfort zone and ask him about the tower. And have you ever had something like this happen where people just walk up and are just right in your grill, but you realize that they don't understand that it's in your personal space? It's just that's the way they are. You're like,
I've had people walk up to me and just start talking to me, kind of like this. But they haven't been in my grill. I will say that I've had people in my personal space in public, and I'll leave it at that. And I just don't know if they understand that this shouldn't be in my personal space, but it takes everything in me not to physically move them away from me.
Now,
if that makes any sense.
Yeah, now I can imagine a scenario where you're in a bar and these people come up to you and they're like, scissoring, like that kind of thing, but
boy,
not like
that's one of them.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of scenario is one thing I can see happening to you, but like in real, you're just sitting. Imagine sitting on a bench like this, and these people just come right up to you, like, "Oh, the tower, eh?"
Yeah, dude, it's a good scene too. The dude's chasing him around or whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting because Ray tells them they aren't going up into the tower. And it seems obvious to him why, and they don't get it. It's because they're all elephants, meaning they're huge fat people. And the guy tries to punch him, and Ray just moves out of the way.
It's the best, dude.
It's like, this isn't like an action movie, so there's no like sound effects or catchy music to go along with this.
Right.
It's just this fat guy moving extremely slow because he's fat, and Ray moving out of the way with ease. It looks weird, but almost comical.
It is funny. And like, that's the beautiful thing about his character is his responses and his dialogue, everything's just so brutally honest.
Yeah.
Like, even down to where, I forget the line, but they're visiting the church and Ken says to him, he's like, you didn't have to, he's like, did you agree to, if I let you go tonight, that you have to come around, along with me to see all these other sightseeing things? And he's like, well, yeah. And he's like, yeah, but you didn't say you could pout like a little 5-year-old who's dropped his dum-dum. And he's like, I didn't agree to that. So it's just like his responses throughout the whole movie. Like, he always has an angle, and I just think it's hilarious.
Yeah, everything he says, Colin Farrell, everything he says in this movie is hilarious. His delivery is so perfect. He's complaining that Harry won't call, and it dawns on him that he's stuck there in that room. And he starts just pouting like an actual child. And his misery is just so palpable. He'll do anything to escape this situation, including looking at these buildings that he doesn't care about at night, even if just to get out of there, even if he really doesn't want to do it.
Well, he's also drinking a beer too, so it's like a nice outlet. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's great because it's 2008. So in theory, he would just nowadays be dicking around on his cell phone, right? Watching Netflix. But you don't have that ability in 2008. What was 2008? Obviously, we had cell phones, but
yeah,
it wasn't on your phone watching Netflix.
Dude, 2008, this is a real throwback to the Town episode. Do you remember we were talking about, Blackberries just came into fashion around that time.
Wasn't the town 2012? What year was the town? 2010.
2010.
So it's even before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's even before that.
So it was Razors, Motorola Razors. It was Blackberries.
I guess my point is you're gonna be a lot more bored, and you don't have a DVD player in a hotel in Bruges, right? So he's kind of just stuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all he can do. But he does deliver one of the funniest fucking lines. He goes, Ray says, "I used to hate history, didn't you? It's all just a load of stuff that already happened." I'm like, what? I used to hate history, you? It's just a load of stuff that already happened. And then Ken looks at him like, what, dude?
Yeah.
He just walks away.
It's such like a weird statement. And one level, you're like, Ray is kind of feeling a lot of guilt for killing this kid. So in one sense, everything that already happened, he wants to get out of his head.
It's true.
But what a weird way to say it. I used to hate history, you.
Yeah, and it's like he's using this though, kind of, I guess, like his attitude and his, I don't know, to kind of deal and maybe cope with the fact that he killed this kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, dude, the dialogue is so good. But the best is that it's like 2008, and the writing of this has pretty much, you could argue, half of this dialogue in this movie wouldn't be allowed to be put in a movie in 2026.
Yeah, a lot of it's right up on the line, isn't it?
Oh boy,
it's right up there.
Like that?
It's right up there. Sure,
right up there.
Hangover.
Yeah, you're right, dude. Exactly. What year was Hangover?
2006, I think. So,
yeah,
it was at
2009.
20. I think it was 2010. The whole world fell apart. So that would be my guess.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Immediately after the scene, they're out, and Ray notices they are filming something, and he goes, "What are they doing over there? They're filming something. They're filming midgets." And he just runs over, just like he's so excited. It's like, I love how he goes from bored to excited in the span of a millisecond and then just runs off.
That's what I'm saying, man. This character has like severe ADHD, dude. It's phenomenal to watch. But more to the point is the way Colin Farrell just nails this.
Yeah.
Like, just nails this role. Like you said, he's a kid in a grown-up's body.
Really?
That's it.
Yeah.
It's the best way you can describe it. It's the best way you can describe it.
And Ray goes over, he sees this beautiful girl and basically falls in love on the spot. And I love his approach to her. She's getting coffee on set, and he just goes on set. He just walks over and starts pouring coffee. And his opener, "Do you speak English?" "Yes, you do." Everybody does. Like, what are you filming midgets for? Like, what an incredible line of questioning there. And I'm like, this is literally the meme of just be yourself. As in, how do I talk to women? And Chad says, just be yourself, but it only works for him because he's Chad.
He's got that charisma, bro. Let me just start by saying that you can't just walk onto a set like that and start pouring coffee. Maybe in 2008 you could, but even the smaller sets like that, dude, they got security, and it's like someone's gonna be like, dude, who the hell are you?
Who are you, bud?
And yeah, hey, who are you? Huh? No, you. Who are you? But did you happen to notice how she leaves her card and just assumes, like, he assumes they're going to have dinner the next night?
Yeah.
Like, he's telling Ken about it. And it's not this whole nowadays 2026 of texting or Snapchatting. It's just, he assumes like, oh, we're going to have dinner. She like just throws her card in the street, and on a whim, he's going to call her. They're going to go to dinner. It's already assumed. Like, what a different time.
What a beauty. Yeah. And I see that in my mind's eye, can go back right to that time period and remember what it was like. You would call people's houses. Yeah. It was epic. Imagine that. Call. Hey, listen, if you're listening to this right now, call someone's landline. Give that a try.
Do you know that landlines still exist?
Absolutely. My parents had one.
Yeah. How about that? Because my parents got rid of theirs like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. So we were at her cousin's house, my wife's cousin's house, for Easter. And all of a sudden, I'm like walking out the front door with my daughter. I hear this like sound of a landline phone ringing. And I poke my head back in. I'm like, Linz. She's like, what? I'm like, is that a landline? And they're like, yeah, it's our landline. Her aunt's screaming over. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. So her Graham called her uncle at the house. I'm like, this is epic, dude.
Oh, yeah. She remembered the number.
Totally forgot the sound of totally forgot the sound of a landline ringing in a house. Incredible stuff.
Beautiful.
But like it's for this movie, man, it's the little details that I love, right? So Ken is pissed. He's trying to sleep. You know, the whole sleep scene when Ray comes barging in, being loud. He's all excited because he meets the girl or whatever. And Ray finally kind of gets situated on his bed and he's whispering to Ken, but his ADHD kicks in. He's like, except I got to take out my contact lenses. And he like gets up and immediately turns the light back on. And it's like, just that whole dialogue there, that scene, it's just those little things, man, that I think are hilarious. And he just flicks the light back on and all of a sudden Ken's all pissed at him again.
Yeah.
But then he goes, the best part of that is he starts brushing his teeth and completely disregards Ken's request for him to go back to sleep. And he's like, you'll never guess what happened, Ken. And then Ken just stares at him. He doesn't say anything back. He's like, Ken, you'll never guess what? And he's like, what? It's like, I met a girl. It's like, it's just those little details that I just like, something like this, the back and forth, the dialogue, the timing of it between these two awesome actors. And I just think is like, can't put a price on that.
And might be the funniest thing I've ever seen in a movie. He sees this midget, in the film scene the night before, and the next day, the midget that he saw, he is walking by, and he gives a thumbs. He gave the thumbs up to as he's walking by. He sees him the next day, and he waves to him again, and the midget completely ignores him. And Ray is so hurt by it on his face, and he whispers under his breath, "Little fucking cunt." And it's so funny. It's one of those things where you go to wave to someone, and they just ignore you, and you immediately feel self-conscious, and you put your hand down. Like, did anyone see?
Dude.
Did anyone see that?
I've been there. Been there. Many times, dude. I think that this guy who plays the midget, I don't think he's a very strong actor, but ironically, this one scene, the way he overlooks him and looks past him and moves his head, I think that's like the best thing ever in this whole movie because he just overlooks him and it's so natural that I'm like, all right, screw it. I don't care if he was bad throughout the rest of the movie. This kind of rules.
You're right, though. Like, Colin Farrell is giving a masterclass in facial expressions in this movie. Ken is telling him about the one good guy he killed. He was the guy who was trying to defend his brother. The camera cuts back to Ray, and he gives this perplexed, disturbed look that says, like, you got to do what you got to do. It's like he does this throughout the whole movie where it's like he's confused look on his face. And
he's like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah. He is like a little baby this whole movie. And
yeah.
And it's so wild. Like in this same scene, Ray starts crying, saying he killed a little boy. And you think it's going to be this emotional breakdown scene. And then he's just like, he's not here anymore. He's not going to be here again. I mean, in the world, not here in Belgium.
Well, I don't think you want to come to Belgium.
It surprises you because he says it so quick. And they do this thing in this movie where they hit you with something kind of serious and then immediately just cut it with something hilarious.
Yes. And it's like this movie, though, I like I said earlier, I was like, I'm watching this back and if you ever had this where you're watching something, things start to kind of, you start to remember what happened and you remember last time you watched it or whatever. And then the scene happens where he shoots the priest, which, by the way, that priest, I can never remember that actor's name, but he's the dude in The Terror.
Yes.
TV show The Terror.
Mm-hmm.
That dude rules. There Will Be Blood. He's also in Phenomenal. He plays, I can't remember the character's name in There Will Be Blood either.
He's also in Rome as Julius Caesar.
Yeah. Oh, he's a phenomenal actor, that guy. And this scene where he gets shot as the priest. And then the kid, it's like showing this close up on this kid's head that he shot. And I don't know if it's just like my mind just totally forgot about it because I didn't want to remember it, but I'm like, holy shit, dude, this movie is dark, right?
Yeah.
I totally forgot how like the other half of this movie where it's kind of there's some pretty like jacked up shit going on. But that's like to your point. It's like this can be a very, very dark movie, and like he has these emotional breakdowns and shit. But then it just switches back to like funny as hell. And we'll get into it later, just kind of the dialogue between Harry, because then you have these two characters and it's super entertaining. And then they implement Harry's character and you're like, this is completely diabolical. The conversations that he's having with Ken are so insane. You're like, what is going on in this movie? So then, like I said, there's a phone call. They, bring in Ken, or I'm sorry, they bring in Harry. There's a phone call between Ken and Harry, and this is incredible scene. The details Harry's making him go through is kind of wild, but Ken's patience and Brendan Gleeson, just the way he kind of just pantomimes going through all this stuff.
Yes, yeah.
Out to the door. He opens the door and he kind of nods his head like he's like kind of counting a couple seconds and then shuts the door. It's so good, dude. It's just so well done. I love it.
You get the impression that, one, Harry is completely paranoid. Two, they've had this discussion on this phone 100 times before.
Which you're right about, because he mentions that. He's like, all the things we've been through, blah, 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 blah. He's like, you've always been a cunt. Yeah, you're right. So then Harry's on the phone. Well, it's what I was saying. The other half of that is he's on the phone completely unhinged, right? So Ken has to make up these completely bogus stories to justify where Ray is. But when I mentioned it's like those little details, it's those little details, right?
Yeah.
It's like having this crazy dude on the other end of the phone. He keeps asking him. And it's like, to the point where you would think a normal person, Brendan Gleeson playing Ken, would be like, dude, what the hell? He's about to pop off. But he just keeps going along with it. And he lays on the bed and he starts like telling him like all these stories while he's laying on the bed, trying to pacify Harry because he knows he's like neurotic.
All three of these guys are these supposedly professional killers. And they're just so bad at it because something will happen and they'll just be like, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to kill him. And it's so funny that the whole reason why they're in Bruges is because Harry thinks that it's going to be a nice send-off for Ray. Ray will really enjoy his time, not realizing at all that Ray wouldn't like any of this city at one iota. And the whole reason he thinks that Ray would is because he himself enjoyed it when he went there at younger. You know what I mean? Like,
years old.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, it must be true for everyone that everyone's going to love this city just because I went there and enjoyed it.
He's a little unhinged, that Harry.
Scene cuts to Chloe's room and her and Ray are making out. They're about to have the sex and her boyfriend comes in with a gun to rob Ray. Ray takes the gun off him, finds out it's only blanks, and he shoots him right in front of his eye with the blanks, and which will still blind you. Obviously, it still can hurt you.
You think that's accurate?
Yeah, because it shoots a thing out, and there's explosive powder coming out too that can burn you.
Well, we shot blanks in one of the movies.
Yeah, but they weren't like they were
caps.
Yeah, it was like slightly different. Like real blanks will have powder in them, and if you hold it like right next to your face, it'll still burn you. But
yeah, fair enough.
Chloe goes, I have to take him to the hospital. Night ruined. You hate to see that kind of thing. So she leaves, says he can stay there. He bumbles around for a bit, finds her stash of drugs, and then her stash of bullets. And this blew me away. This is just something I will look at and be like, this is so funny to me, dude. One box is labeled blanks, and the other box is strangely labeled live rounds. Like, what?
Why do you think that's crazy?
Because it's like, it's obvious I have a box of bullets right now, right here. They're not labeled live rounds because you wouldn't need to know that these are the live ones sitting next to your box of
Yeah, but you have
blanks.
A box where it actually labels the type of ammunition it is, where she has, I believe, just 2 plastic containers. So if they're using blanks to rob people, then you're going to want to know which one's the blanks and which one's live.
Yeah, for the purposes of like the movie and the moviegoer. But anyone who's looking at that and being like, wait a second, I shoot guns. That seems completely preposterous that there would be a box of ammo that says live. Like,
hey man,
they only did that to differentiate
the
2 boxes.
You got to label them. Ask Alec Baldwin.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, shout out to Alec Baldwin He could have probably used a label on his live rounds, to be honest with you.
Now, did you ever have something like that happen, though, where something crazy like that and the night's ruined and you're like, dude. I'm trying to think of a situation where I was in like that and I'm like,
What, where I'm about to have the sex?
Or just anything in general. You're with a chick and then it's like the night gets ruined because some crazy shit happens.
Yeah,
I don't think
literally every
wild.
time.
Oh God, I don't want to know. Hey, well, speaking of Chloe, this chick, I always have to ask. Do you think she's hot?
Yeah, I do. I'm in love with her. I love her.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna find her and marry her. Probably. That's how committed I am. But this is 2008, so I'd have to go back in time.
I was just gonna say she's probably like 58 years old now.
Yeah, I imagine that she aged and like doesn't look as good now. But if I could go back, if I could turn back time, I'd jump right into 2008 and just start mixing it up with the people again. I'd start listening to Breaking Benjamin. Absolutely. Now, the question is, let me pose you the question. Is she hot, though?
I don't know, dude. She's all right.
Talk to me, bud. Talk to me. It sounds like...
I don't know. I know where you're going with this. It's like it's like that vibe where everyone's like Sydney Sweeney. Like she's got this like this X factor about her, right? She has this like very original look.
I don't know how X factor it is with her.
Yeah.
She's got a good set of yams, I think.
Well, no, it's like this very unique look with some chicks, and I think that's where you're going with this Chloe chick. I think she's pretty, of course, but she's got a very unique look.
Yeah.
Right? Where like the hot chicks of Hollywood, like they look perfect.
Right, exactly.
Whereas this chick is not meant to be perfect. She looks, and I agree, she's hot.
Is this a theme here? A more approachable woman?
There you go.
Maybe in my mind, I think, wait a second, can I achieve a relationship with Chloe? Sydney Sweeney, perhaps not. She's too it. She's such an it girl right now that little old me, if I send a DM on Instagram saying, I love you, it's not going to work out.
Well, dude, here you go. This is perfect for you, dude. Move to Bruges. Because all he had to do was tell her, like, did you see the scene where it just stops? Because he's like, I should have known I could never get a girl like you. And she's like, what did that mean? And she's like, or he goes, because you're so nice. And she just, the rest of the movie, she's like in love with it.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't care that you stole my accent. Is like, all he had to do is say, because you're nice. So, dude, just move out to Bruges. You'll be landing chicks left and right.
Oh, man, I love that strategy. I'm just going to have to, get on a plane, get out there. Because
get in Bruges.
I'm already in Bruges, mentally. Let's put it that way. The amount of random scenes, though, and dialogue in this movie is just incredible. The whole scene, where they meet with the midget and decide to do coke with him in his room.
Yeah, dude.
With the prostitutes. It's very Tarantino, the level of dialogue going on. And is the coke talking in this scene?
I think the coke's talking. And I think that, obviously, Colin Farrell kind of takes the cake with how he's acting. But yeah, it's the best part is, though, at the end, he just karate chops the midget. And, like, it's like almost too goofy, but the dialogue makes it funny the whole time. It's like over the top, but like to a degree. But I think he just sells it so well, and he's the only one that could do it, that it makes it like believable and like acceptable.
So we find out the reason why they're in Bruges to begin with in this whole movie is because Harry wants to have Ken kill Ray because of the botched murder that Ray did, where he mistakenly killed a boy. So, Ken gets a gun and goes to kill Ray, who is sitting in a park, seemingly just depressed. And Ken walks up to shoot him, and he notices Ray pull out a revolver to kill himself, and he stops him. Now, I love that idea that this guy, he's about to kill himself, and he sees he's about to kill himself. Ray, stop!
Yeah, with the gun in his hand.
Yeah,
that's so good.
And he's hiding the gun behind his back. It's like,
he's like, what do you got there? And he already saw the gun.
Another iconic, if you look up Beretta 92 movies, I would say that the vision of Ken behind Ray with the gun is just an iconic Beretta scene. But I swear to God that in looking at the pictures of this movie, if you look it up online, there's a shot from the front in that scene where the camera is pointed at Ray's face when he's got the gun up to his head, and it's got Ken behind him holding the Beretta to his head, and they never show that in the movie.
It's kind of weird you mentioned that, because when I was looking up thumbnails for this, I could have sworn that I saw a scene where they're both sitting in a carriage. And then I was looking up some of the fun facts, and it made mention that they were shooting like a carriage scene where Ray didn't want to get in the carriage and they scrapped it. So there's it could just be marketing that they shot.
Marketing material, yeah. But what's funny is that it almost became as iconic as the iconic shot of the movie. I feel like.
Gotcha.
And I was expecting it, and then it never came. I was like amazed by it. Also interesting, he's got this suppressor on his Beretta, and the barrel, however, is not threaded, and I can't understand why. What is the armor of this movie doing exactly? And what I'm getting at is this means that Brendan Gleeson has to act like he's screwing on a suppressor onto the barrel when in fact he's not. And this might be...
You have to elaborate that, because I don't know what you mean by that.
Okay.
Explain.
This might be my autism speaking. I'm sorry, folks. But I see things in movies and I just go berserk. So when he goes to Yuri's house and he gets the Beretta from him.
Yeah.
On a Beretta, like, the barrel pops out a little bit from the edge of the gun.
Yeah. Yep.
And they all, that's just a traditional barrel, the regular barrel. There's also another barrel that they have, which it has threads on the end. And that's where you screw on a suppressor.
Ah.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm looking at it and it's the regular barrel. And I see him screwing the suppressor on. I'm like, what is he doing? This doesn't make any sense. And this is just me flipping out when I watch movies like this.
Because I saw him screwing on the suppressor. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's like silencer or whatever. But yes, that makes sense. If like the end of that barrel sticking out isn't threaded, then you can screw it on.
Right. And it
interesting.
It throws me for a loop, because I then go, wait, what is the armorer doing? Why didn't they just get a threaded barrel? And I don't know. Obviously, 9 out of 10 people are not going to see this. And
I was
be
just
like,
going to say, it's like, even shooting smaller films, our buddy Ryan is like, well, you got to do this with this, because I'm like, who is ever going to notice that?
Me.
Well, I have to ask you, what would you do in this situation? Could you kill your boy knowing that you're next if you don't?
Absolutely not.
The predicament that Brendan Gleeson's in?
No, and I wouldn't kill him, and I wouldn't mind being like, I'm next, because I realize that Harry would still have to come to me and actually do it.
Right.
Now, it's a little different for Ken, because Ken feels indebted to Harry, right? Which gets into this whole thing where then Harry feels bad for him. He's like, geez.
Right.
Okay, now I can't kill you.
Well, and that we'll get to that dialogue, but it's like perfect the way he articulates it.
Yeah.
Because it's like just enough to get, he knows. We'll get to the scene, but I love the scene, like just how Brendan Gleeson just portrays himself in this movie. He just knows something that you don't know. So he is the only guy that can get through to Harry, and he does it like perfectly in that scene to get through to him. But we'll get to that. Which, again, we now get introduced to Harry, played by Ralph. What did you pronounce that? Fiennes?
Fiennes, I believe it is.
Fiennes?
Yeah.
Is it Fiennes?
Yeah.
I think it is Fiennes. Okay, you're right. What are your thoughts on him? I mean, we just did Manhunter, and he's Francis Dollarhide in Red Dragon.
Great actor. He rules. He's been in a ton of things that I love. He's in Harry Potter as the bad guy.
Yeah. He's the bad guy in Harry Potter.
He plays a great villain.
He plays a great villain. I was going to say, the way he belittles that Eric dude who gets shot in the eye is like kind of iconic. Just calls him a puff.
He's a puff.
This name for puffs, you're a puff. So then this is the scene that I'm talking about, but Harry sits down at the table outside with Ken. And all I can think here is, if I'm sitting down staring at Brendan Gleeson in his eyes, this is kind of what I was just referring to. Like, it might be the most intimidating experience, not because he's like a scary dude or an intimidating figure, but just the vibe that he gives, like he'll just be silent and then he opens his mouth in such a like a calm, articulate way that it's like almost like your quiet, disappointed uncle, right?
Yeah.
And it's like this guy, I don't know if I'm going to say the right thing here to this guy, but he's gonna break me down. You know what I mean? Do you get that vibe?
Yeah, very calm demeanor, but stern.
Yeah. But he's still loving. He's like, you know, a big teddy bear. He loves Ray at the end of the day. You know, he's not going to give him too much shit. He's never going to come at him and yell at him, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right.
Any of that makes sense. I just let Brendan Gleeson, man. I think he's just awesome. He's so underrated. So then you get down to the dialogue where they're going back and forth here. This is kind of what we were talking about earlier. He's like, he calls Harry's kids cunts. And they spend like a solid minute of screen time arguing over the fact that he calls his kids cunts. And I'm thinking to myself, this is great writing, dude.
Yeah.
Like this is the one little it's like you're expecting when you see Harry's character come in, you're expecting him, right, to be over the top asshole. Like he's going to be super hard. He's pissed. He flew in just for this. But no, dude, you get this like camaraderie dialogue. And then like in like a moment's notice, like you mentioned before, is he'll just flip the script back, right? And they'll just talk about something that happened and kind of laugh about it almost. It's like, it's just so well done. The timing of it's just peak.
Yeah, the fact that he gets angry, Ken calls his kids cunts, and then Harry goes, you know, you take that back. And then Ken realizes immediately he went too far. All right, I retract that. And then
exactly.
He says something else, and then Harry just dwells on it for a second. He said, "You called my kids cunts," and Ken said, "I retracted it."
Dude, this is what I'm talking about. It's like it's the scene right after that too. Like the next thing they're talking about is you think Harry's going to get down to brass tacks here, and he says something about he's like, "Do you have your gun on you?" And then Ken goes, he kind of nods or whatever, and he goes, "That Yuri bloke was a funny fellow, isn't he?" And then it just immediately, they just change the subject and then they start yucking it up about Yuri. And like, Harry's agreeing with him. And I'm like, this is it, dude. This is why this movie is great. Because the dialogue's just, the timing of it, the dialogue, the writing, just so good.
Yeah, like they had this whole conversation earlier when Ken is getting his gun about alcoves. This guy Yuri is obsessed with alcoves and what alcoves means. And you're like, the guy's really obsessed with alcoves, isn't he? And then they bring it full circle, and he says, you have your gun? And Ken, all he has to do is say, Yuri is a interesting fella. And you know what that means now, because...
Brace the tension.
Yeah, that's a way of saying, yes, I have the gun. And that guy, to prove it to you, that guy was a little bit weird, wasn't he? And then they get into a whole conversation between the two of them about alcoves there. It's like, hey, what is going on with this conversation, dude?
That's just genius writing right there, man. Anyhow, so I noticed a lot of references of beer, the beer in this movie.
Yeah.
And us being a couple of beer guys in the industry. You got a favorite Belgian beer, my friend? You got any Belgians you like?
Yeah, dude, Belgian beer is the best beer, and this should be a established fact right now. I'm not sure if it is, but if you're listening to this, you need to understand that the beers from Belgium are the best. Okay? I
don't know, dude. I like these IPAs. I like these hazy IPAs, dude.
Dude, I like a focal banger. I open it up. It smells like the weed. Dude.
Hey!
I love an IPA. The bitters, huh? No. Trust me, Belgian beer is the best. And to answer your question, dude, like St. Bernardus Christmas Ale is probably my favorite. It's their Belgian quad with added spices and shit.
Quads rule.
Korsendonk also very good. But yeah, quads, doubles, that's it. It looks like they're drinking Belgian triples in this film, which is more of a golden ale. But
nah, dude, Belgian ales are pretty awesome. I mean, I must say I do kind of like hazy IPAs, but to your point, dude, I can go for a triple or quad.
Well, it's more of like delicious. You're not going to be guzzling Belgian quads,
right?
That's one you have like a wine glass of it, and and have yourself.
Brendan Gleeson does in this movie.
Well,
He's coked out.
He's a bit of a
he's got a lot in his mind.
He's a heavy hitter, that guy.
He's got a lot in his mind, though. It's true. Gleeson gets shot in the neck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get to this final scene here, and he crawls up to the vantage point in the tower, and this Gaelic music comes on, and I'm thinking, this is fantastic. Your thoughts? Kind of rule. I just like the whole way that happened, and he's just like fighting this last ounce, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, dude, this is what's going to happen. Because again, I don't recall this from seeing it so long ago. I'm like, he's going to take out Harry from this tower. They did the preview where he's got the gun, they're pointing the gun at him with his finger at the beginning of the movie. He's going to snipe him no scope with a handgun being shot in the neck from the tower. Thoughts?
You notice that throughout the movie, when Harry comes into the movie, Ken keeps giving Harry shit about loving Bruges. And Harry's like, what are you giving me shit for? You know what I mean? And then Ken's just like, I'm giving you shit for it, but I actually do love this city. And at one point he says something like mockingly that this mist came over and it made the,
fairy tale.
Yeah, it made it look like a fairy tale. And when he looks over the edge of the tower to bring it full circle again, there's a bunch of mist, so he can't see. Yeah. So he just launches his body out of the tower.
Oh, I didn't even catch the whole mist thing.
Yeah,
I didn't see that he couldn't see to shoot him.
Yeah, he looks over and he can't. Well, it's part of the theme of them just going full circle with random stuff earlier in the movie, where he mentions this mist coming over. I'm like, oh, that's why. I guess that's why he jumped. I picked that up this time. I obviously didn't pick that up the first time, but intriguing nonetheless.
Well, he does launch himself over, and I'm thinking to myself, as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, this is 2008, and they make the blood on his neck, the wound, just the coloration of the blood, because then it's like almost like it's congealing almost.
Yeah.
But then his face is turning color, but it's actually the light, because he's up in the light tower, the tower or whatever. But even when he falls down and splatters somewhat, they make the prosthetics, like they're kind of rack focused. You can't really see them, but I just think they do such a phenomenal job with the practical effects. And I'm like, this could have been CGI'd.
100%.
Because it looks to the normal naked eye, it looks real.
It looks like an actual body got launched off and splat on the ground. It looks so good. And it's kind of disturbing too, because it happens so quick. And the way they shoot it is the camera is pointed down from Ken's perspective.
Yep.
And it zooms down to the ground, and then it cuts real quick, and you just see this body hit the ground, and you're like, whoa, explodes. Boom.
Literally. Because I don't know what a body would look like, falling from that height. Don't know that it would explode, but it's possible. I've seen some videos online that I wish I wouldn't have. I mean, you've probably seen 6,000 times what I've seen, but...
Dude, my roommate literally saw a dude jump off a bank before, like almost right in front of him. And
oh God,
the dude died. Yeah, it was insane. It like shook him up a little bit too. It was crazy.
Yeah, well, I can see why.
Yeah, dude. And it was kind of disturbing too, because they took the body away and everything, and there was just like a shitload of blood everywhere, and they had to spray it off. And you're like, oh, that's what we are, dude. That's what remains after you die from jumping. Is like some dude in a hazmat suit type thing has to come and spray this blood off. Gnarly.
Yeah, dude. Nah, I'm good on that. So then Harry and Ray, they have this little standoff at the hotel, but Harry can't do anything because the chick kind of puts herself between the two of them, and she's pregnant. He has this code of like, I can't kill a kid, right? So they further beat into your mind. Like, there's no coincidence this chick is pregnant.
Right.
It has to happen.
Yep.
Something has to happen because she's obviously pregnant. And just the calamity of this whole scene, only to end with Harry shooting Ray, is like so good. Even where he's like, all right, let's count to 3, and then you can keep chasing me. He's like, wait, do I go left or do I go right? It's just like that insanity. And I'm like, watching this. Like, it even shows the chick. It's like, you two are both crazy. And then he finally gets to it, right? And he shoots him in the chest. Like I mentioned before, if you notice, the bullet goes through him, foreshadowing what's about to happen next. And it kills the guy in the boat because the boat kind of swerves off and crashes into the canal. But yeah, it's like they have this code or whatever. And although they have some rapport, like they're just completely fine at the end of the day killing each other, which is kind of weird. But it's...
Well, you expect these guys to be like killing each other, to be totally ruthless and merciless killers.
Exactly.
But it's actually the opposite.
There's never... It's showing you that human side of it and like a little bit of comedy to make it a different style of movie. Not just a badass killer with like, no, because not every killer is just going to be if there are like hitmen hired out killers in real life, they do have a sense of humor at some point.
You have to. Yeah, you have to.
Touches on it, which is exactly. So you see this as soon as Ray sees the little boy at this end segment, I'm like, it's all coming back to me. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I know exactly what's going to happen here because he reaches out and he's like, the little boy, and like Harry's right behind him. Like, oh, dude, he's going to shoot him. They're shooting the movie. He's going to shoot the midget because he explained before about having there's a reason they talked about having the bullets with the exploding heads on them.
Yep.
Okay, he's going to mistake the midget for a boy. He's going to kill himself. End of movie. And it all just happens right before it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Harry says earlier in the movie that if it had been him who had killed the boy, he would have shot himself right away, just out of principle.
Spot.
And so he goes and shoots Ray. The bullet goes through and hits this midget in the head, and his head gets blown off. And he walks up and thinks it's a boy. And Ray says something like almost like it's a midget, and like Harry is not even paying attention, and then just kills himself out of principle. He sticks by his principles.
Ray tries to stop Harry. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this though. The obvious question is, if these are exploding bullets, how would it pass through Ray first and then explode on second contact with the midget's head?
Because bullets sometimes, they can go through people.
I know that, but I'm just saying, wouldn't it explode inside? Isn't the whole idea to explode on first contact?
Yeah, but I'm not 100% sure whether that is actually true. Like, I'm sure there's hollow points that can go through people and still hit people on the other side. Now, they probably are just doing it for dramatic effect here, because to mirror Ray killing the priest and hitting the boy in the same fashion. But we'll have to go to YouTube tonight and go to GunTube and
Folks,
look at.
We'll do the legwork.
Yeah, we'll have to look at the ballistics.
We'll do the
tests.
research.
We'll figure that one out,
those, dude. The gel test.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
And
see the one where the guy's like constantly sending through how many whatever of something can the different caliber of bullets go through. He starts out with like a 9mm, works his way up to like a 50 cal.
That's
like seeing how many plates it'll go through, or how many of this or that.
Yes,
this guy.
I think you're referring to banana ballistics. Yep, I know exactly who you're talking about, but
of course you are. Of course you know. Anyway,
it's just everything in this movie is tied together at the end. You realize they put this random thing in earlier so it can be used for something later. Like, they mention at one point that when they're going up Ken and Harry into the tower, and Harry has to beat the guard up. Yeah. They mention at one point that there was a heart attack up there earlier, and you realize, oh, it was the fat people that went up there. That's the people they were referring to. And even the midget, Ray is talking to the midget all throughout the movie about how midgets kill themselves and how they blow themselves. They blow their own heads off. And it's foreshadowing the fact that this midget himself is going to get his head blown off.
Yes.
Every little thing in this movie is used. It's fantastic.
That's a good way of putting it. Everything is used. And what I've been doing recently is when my wife and I watch a show, and she'll be like, why is this? And I'll be like, are they introducing it into the episode? There's got to be a reason for it. Right. I show this person's necklace. There's got to be a reason for it. It's going to play a factor at the end. But something like this, like every little piece was used. So but it's a nice touch with like saying someone had a heart attack up there.
Mm-hmm.
Not really necessary for storyline development, but it's like, okay, let's throw in that little piece. He didn't make it up there.
Yeah.
Like it's like a nice touch. I love when, like you said, I love when movies kind of pull that in. It's like something is referenced way later.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, it's a nice touch. Very nice touch.
Your Kino rating, sir?
Ooh, this for me lives in the 8.3 territory, I think, Here we are. Again, just a very basic movie, super simple, just well written, well acted. I think I saw that. I was surprised. I think they said this was like 12 weeks to shoot this, which I was a little bit surprised. I thought it would have been shorter because there's not really much to it. I guess there's a bunch of exteriors I had to get. But yeah, this is like a simple movie, can be a home run. Dialogue is really kind of what makes the movie, looking back on it, because it's hilarious. It's just the comedic timing of it all is so good. But again, I mention this all the time. Some of my favorite movies, I think the best movies, are a juxtaposition between two characters, and it is infectious. Leads to a great movie. Yourself, my friend, what do you got?
I was surprised at how much I liked this movie upon watching it again. Dialogue incredible in this movie. Every weird thing seems random but has actual meaning. And this movie just gets dark humor right on point, which is something I like.
Yeah.
I can't laugh at anything anymore. I don't find anything funny. I'm desensitized
You're
to the world.
desensitized to humanity?
I am.
Fair enough.
And it's like I can't laugh at anything except things that are extremely dark humor. And so when Ray says these little quips, I'm like, I start cracking up. I'm like, and so yeah,
I can feel that.
A complete movie, a full movie.
Yeah.
Every scene in this is meaningful. Give it a 9. I give it a 9.
Ooh, very nice. I like. Okay, good 9. One of the rare times where you rank higher than I do. I feel like I'm always more generous in ranking movies, but yeah, 8.3 for me, 9 for you. Not bad. If you haven't seen it, folks, check out In Bruges.
Thank you for listening, everyone. We're getting a spike in listeners, and God damn it, we appreciate you.
Yes, we are. Thank you very much, folks.
As I like to say, I need to quit my job or else I'm going to lose my mind. Please like, share, and subscribe. We've got, and we're going to be talking about a real nostalgia piece for me next week, the 1983 movie BMX Bandits. And I can't wait for you to see this.
Folks, till then, catch you on the next one.